Imagine if you lost 20, 30, 40, or even 50 pounds or more right away. Would you be more attractive to the opposite sex? Feel better? Sleep better? If you've tried to lose weight in the past and repeatedly failed, then you need to know about a true game-changer medication. Semaglutide is FDA approved. It can produce quick and easy results. Call the number on your screen now for free info. This is the last diet you'll ever go on. Finally lose the weight and keep it off. There's no pain, no surgery, no exercise plan, no starvation, no fasting, no silly meal prep. In fact, you can continue to eat the foods you love. Pause this screen and take down this number or store it in your cell phone. But call today for free information. The Advanced Medical Weight Loss Program is physician-based and works with your body naturally to create the feeling of being full. This is not just about losing weight. This is about what your life can become as a thinner you. Call the number on your screen now for free info. Finally lose the weight and keep it off. Look great this summer, but hurry. There's a huge demand for this product and shortages may occur at any time. Call the number on your screen now for free information.
Welcome to the Turnpike Sports Spotlight. Dave Weishottle with you. I'm excited to talk to our next guest because if something helps me in my sports betting, I want to know about it. And this app is an incredible tool for sports bettors. It's called BettorTakes, and it gives you a detailed analysis of your bets, which is an incredible help for sports betting. And we're going to find out all about it because on the line we have the founder and CEO of BettorTakes, Steve Rubenfaer. Steve, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, man.
I love this whole concept. I love the platform. It's so unique in the industry. And I'm curious, were you involved in the gaming industry before you created BettorTakes? I mean, what was your background before the creation of BettorTakes?
I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've run businesses in all different kinds of industries, so I'm kind of industry agnostic, just running my own companies. I've always built companies, been employee one, built them up from scratch. And the reason I started this company was because like you said, a few minutes ago, you can't believe no one's done this before. When sports betting became legal, I decided to start betting college basketball. I had done it as a kid, and back in the Villanova beating Georgetown days, and I just started betting basketball again, college basketball. But I'm not so much of a sports guy. I mean, I'm more of a spreadsheet finance guy, and immediately I was really interested in how I was doing in certain categories, and not even anything very drastic, just home, away, or favorite underdog, or Big Ten, Pac-10. And I went looking for some software or for an app, and there was literally nothing out there that could remotely help me. I mean, there were some rudimentary bet trackers that kind of deal more with the accounting side of things, like here's how much you won, and some of them do break things out slightly, but there was nothing that even, approached the granularity that I wanted to tell me how I was doing and which things I needed to work on and which things I was doing well. So I decided, it was one of those, hey, I'm just going to build it. It was one of those kind of things.
That's great, because that was my next question. I mean, what was your inspiration behind the creation of BettorTakes? What did you see in the gaming industry, or more importantly, what didn't you see in the gaming industry that made you think that BettorTakes would do really well in the marketplace?
It's amazing how the whole industry is geared towards throwing you somebody else's stuff, whether it's their picks or their trends or their stats. It's like, it was all about get our info, get our data. Here, pay $100 for our picks. We're 18 and 16. Wow. And it's like no one really made an effort to understand the bettor at an individual level and say, hey, what are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? Because you know how it goes. I mean, you hear something like home team with points is a great bet. And then you bet the next three and they all win, and then you're screwed for the rest of your life because you just think it's a great bet and you're chasing it. And you know what I mean? There's no one to tell you hey, this is something that you're losing on now. You know what I mean? Get over it. So I just really think the industry, and still, not only now, but still is just geared towards selling people stuff and getting people to bet on their recommendations. And look at the sports books. Look what the direction they've gone in. Personalized recommendations, basically what they want you to bet on. They want to convince you that you really want to bet on what we're showing you. There's almost nothing out there, maybe nothing but us, that starts off with the input from the actual bettor themselves and tries to really explain their experience from their side of the story.
As I said, I think this is an incredible tool if you enjoy sports betting. So let's get down to it. So what is BettorTakes? What can it do for you if you enjoy sports betting, and how does it make you a better sports bettor?
So what BettorTakes does is it searches your back history to find your strengths and weaknesses. We uncover patterns. We uncover different biases. I mean, people just make the same mistakes over and over. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of bankroll leaks. There's a lot of things you're doing that are costing you money. But, without breaking things down, you would never see it. So what we do is we expose, the good and the bad, and we just give you a much better look into your own patterns. And there's no outside data at all. We're completely agnostic as to the game. We don't think anything's a good bet. There's no trends. There's no stats. We just look at you and say, how do you do in this situation? Mm-hmm. And right now we have two main products. One of them is just, it's called our Insights. It's just basically a screen that shows all of your previous betting history statistics, but in very granular fashion. How you do betting favorites, betting big favorites, road favorites, how you do with University of Michigan, how you do betting the Lakers at home. So it's a very granular thing. This is a pretty easy thing, but nobody even does this. Like, there's literally not even a company that can show you your own stats just by category. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. But our flagship product, the really exciting thing we have, is called our Edge tool. And the Edge tool, what it does is it starts off with you telling us one of your bets for the day. So you say, okay, I want to bet the Lakers +5. And then we scour your past bets, and we look for similar situations. And then we distill a whole bunch of variables into one number that we call our Edge score. And what the Edge score is, it's just created on the fly. And it's just a measure of your aptitude or your proficiency for that particular bet. So you say, I want to bet the Lakers +5. We say your Edge score is 46 or 54. And 50 means it's kind of like a coin tosses would all converge on 50. 50 means you have no edge either way. So it basically it's just another data point for you. We tell you, hey, this is something historically you've been good at, or hey, historically this is something that you kind of suck at. And then you can just make a more informed decision. You don't have to triple up on things you're great at and not bet the things you're not great at, but just be aware there's a lot of variables in your decision-making process. And hopefully that you can, understand how to fit this in with your daily repertoire and hopefully cash some more tickets than you would otherwise.
I love the fact that bettors can track their own progress for sports betting. I think that's so important in becoming a better sports bettor. Give us an example of how people would use BettorTakes. I mean, take us through the process of when someone gets onto your app, then what do? How do they utilize that information? And what information do you provide on BettorTakes so bettors can really understand their bets and how to become a better sports bettor?
Well, a lot of what you're saying, we kind of leave up to them. Like, we're really not really trying to educate them so much about, a lot of the kind of generalities of things. We're more specifically focused on showing them how good they are in whatever situation they're betting into. So they come to the app. The important thing is that they check with us before they make their bet. Okay. So they come onto our app, they put in their bets for the day, and then they see the results. And like I said, the results is just a number, an Edge score. And it's just, that's kind of the start of an inquiry process where they can look at that and say, hey, here's some low Edge scores here. Why? What are some reasons? Mm-hmm. And then, we serve them up and we can tell them why. We show them different data. And we can say, here's why. The magic formula we use is very complicated. We can't exactly say, we can show them things like, okay, you're betting into home team with points. This is how you usually do. You're betting on the Lakers. This is how you usually do. So we break things down into, we take each bet they make and we break that down into different categories. And we say, here's how you do in these categories, these factors that make up your bet. And at the same time, we're figuring out their Edge score, which is a little more nuanced than that. It's got a little more variables than that. And they can just, they just basically learn to recognize patterns. Mm-hmm. when you use it every day, when it becomes part of your daily sports betting routine, you start really learning and understanding a lot about your play. So you keep seeing the same things getting low numbers, and then it just really hits you. And it just really, we all make stupid bets, but when you see flashing in your face like this is a stupid bet for you, it kind of makes you, change your mind a little bit. The thing is the process doesn't have to continue much past just seeing the edge score, because all it needs to do, and this is what it does, is it just adds a little sliver of mindfulness to your play. So you say, I want to bet, you have 10 bets for the day, and maybe 3 of them are really low. And that starts an inquiry in your head. You want to know why you're bad at that. You want to know what's going on. It's not comfortable to see these low numbers. You're a great bettor. You're the best bettor in the world. How the hell can I have a 42? So you take these bets and you look, and we show you kind of in general why, and it just makes you start thinking. It just adds this little pause and says, you know what? This is a bad bet. I have been losing on these. Why do I keep betting on Denver? Why do I keep betting the unders in the first half with these games when they're playing teams that score a lot, or whatever, whatever it is, whatever the mistake you're making? All that has to happen for you to improve is for you to be made aware of the mistake. Mm-hmm. Then everything self-corrects after it. So your question spoke a lot of kind of about processes, like, mm-hmm. And it's just not that complicated. Yeah. The complicated part is figuring out what you're good and bad at, but once you see that, the rest kind of takes care of itself.
I watched your instructional video on YouTube, and I was incredibly impressed by your system and the algorithm that you use. And quite frankly, I've seen some of the algorithms that like professional bettors use, and in my opinion, I don't think they're as good as what BettorTakes has, because I think you provide the information that people really need to be an effective sports bettor. How did you come up with your system, and why did you think this information given to the sports bettor is so important to be an effective sports bettor?
Well, I came up with it, like I said, I was looking for something myself, and what we've come up with here is just much, much more intense than anything I could have ever dreamed. I mean, literally, if I found something as tense, as robust as this, I never would have created it. So, it basically, wait, what was your question again? So you're saying,
I'm just
basically, the variable, we're always adding more variables
mm-hmm.
to it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of, we're hopefully, we're getting some, we're getting some AI, we're adding some AI, and I don't want to say this as a buzzword, as a corny thing, but we actually really do have something that AI, well, I guess there's a lot of things in sports betting that AI is good for, but basically we are adding AI to our tool, and what we do is we think that there's a lot of relevant factors when people are betting. Like, bets are, you can take a bet and you can break it down into a lot of different constituencies, and you can track them individually and see how people do in those situations. For example, lots of people have recency biases. They see 2 or 3 wins in a row and 2 or 3 wins against the spread, and then they say, hey, this team, it just kind of screws them up. They don't understand anything about mean revision, or that of course a team is going to have 2 or 3 great things in a row. It doesn't mean anything. So it just basically takes out, it just smooths the biases. We just look at, like I said, we look at more and more variables.
Yeah.
We're moving to a format where people are going to, right now, people can just enter what they think is a good bet, the mm-hmm. Lakers +5.
Yeah.
But we're moving to a format where their input is going to be a lot more. They're going to tell us exactly what they think is going to happen in a game. I think LeBron's going to have a big game. I think the defense is going to get shut down. I think they're going to come out smoking. They're going to just tell us a whole bunch of things. And basically, we're going to look at what usually happens in these type of games. When you have these opinions, how does it usually end up? What usually happens? And then the next part is, how do you play that to make money? How do you bet that? What's the best, most optimum way? For example, we're coming out with a new product. Our new product we're going to launch in a few weeks, hopefully, mm-hmm. is called our recommendation engine. And it's something that we've never seen anything like it. And basically, it's going to find your spot on the alt spread ladder. Every game has an alt spread. Like if it's +5, you can bet. Sure. So we think that is very poorly priced. It's very formulaic, and we think that that's a great way to basically get an edge off the casino. In fact, we think that probably alt spreads are going to be dead by the time we deal with them. But everyone has an optimum point on that alt spread for each bet they should be on. For example, let's say you bet, we'll use the Lakers +5 example again. Okay. Let's say that's not something you're good at. That's not something you hit very often. But let's say when you do hit it, the Lakers win the game. Like maybe you only get 40% of it, but during those 4 out of 10 times the Lakers actually win. So it makes sense for you to bet the money line instead of betting the point spread that would be your optimum spot, and you'd actually show a profit there. So we're moving towards a world where, and this is coming out in a few weeks. Mm-hmm. So we're moving towards a space where the users tell us just what they think is going to happen in the game. We figure out what usually happens during that, and then we can tell them how to whether it's a same game parlay or someone might say I want to bet the Lakers +5. I think that LeBron's going to have a great game, whatever, and we might say, okay, bet the under in the first half, bet the Lakers team total this, bet LeBron to have under rebounds. We also add prop bets to our services. So we think that there's a lot of variables that are important, and we're just finding more and more ways to use them and kind of correlate that with what happens in these same situations in the past when the bettors had the same opinions, and hopefully the output is information that they could use.
I love what you're doing, and I love what your thoughts and philosophy is for this. I mean, I'm just curious, who do you think your target audience would be for your product? I mean, I can only speak for myself, who is not a professional bettor. I have a job, responsibilities, and I don't have a ton of time that professional bettors have in researching and studying all the trends in the sports betting industry. And quite frankly, anything that saves me a little time is an effective tool for the kind of bettor I am. Who were you hoping to attract with BettorTakes? Is it the recreational bettor? I'm sure professional bettors can absolutely use this. Who is your target audience?
It's really, at a basic level, it's really anyone who, people who bet on sports who make any kind of effort whatsoever at research. If you do any kind of research, if you look online for data or teams or stats, if you're just I don't know where the line is between recreational, but if you're just betting because it's fun and you have hunches and you're just betting on your own stuff, actually, BettorTakes would help you too. But really, we think that if anyone is taking the time to go out there and find information, this is really the best information you can have. This is the piece that everyone's missing. Everyone has the same data, the same trends, the same stats, and pretty soon that's all going to converge. And the only way to get an edge is to look at your own play. So it's really geared towards anyone that really cares a little bit enough to do some research and put a little effort in, anyone who's trying to make a little money. If you're just betting $50 on the game because you're going to the game tonight, maybe, it's not going to be such a great thing for you. But so on the basic level but then, the more introspective, the thing is that we're adding a lot of depth to our program. We have a lot of different levels. We have a lot, coming up in the future. And so we want to make things very easy and very accessible to people that just want to, take a couple minutes before they place a bet. But we're also going to have products to go deeper. So to answer your question, not only anyone that just is spending time doing research, but we also want to reach people that are more introspective. We think that it's a great match for women bettors. Women tend to be a little more introspective and look at things a little deeper sometimes. So we think that, we want to have products that are easy to use for the people that just want to spend a little time, spend a little effort and be better. But if you want to go deeper, if you really want to learn about yourself, we're going to have things, ways that people can really put in a little more effort and get a lot more out of it if you're so inclined.
Now, I'm curious, as someone uses BettorTakes more and more, does the analysis on the app become more precise when you're talking about trends and progress of a person's betting habits? Is more information better and the analysis is better for the person as more information goes in?
Absolutely. You can get meaningful. So you can download your past betting history into our app from any legal sports book.
Okay.
That doesn't, but even if you start entering from scratch and have if you have no betting history, you're not going to get a lot of, good data out of it, but you'll get it sooner than you think. Like within a couple of weeks, you'll start getting interesting data and just looking at even if you're not getting the edge score. So yes, the more data you enter, the more you put in it, the better your results going to be, just like any program at this time. But you will start getting meaningful results very quickly, and it is fascinating even from day one. But the more you put in, especially over more seasons, and we can look at things like how you do this time of year, how do you do in the playoffs, the more you put in, definitely the more accurate results you're going to get. No question.
Now, one of the features on your app that I love is that your app syncs with the legal sports books in your jurisdiction. I'm sitting here in New Jersey that has over 20 mobile sports books, and you go through your bets on the different mobile sports book in the state, and it would not be an efficient use of your time for sports betting. Tell us about that syncing of the legal sports books, because I think that is a great feature on your app.
Yeah, we have shout out to Randy over at Sharp Sports. Ryan at Sharp Sports, who has a great product that downloads your history into our app, and so you can start the ground running. And we understand that, just because you made a bet might not be something you want in your history. Maybe you were hedging a bet, or maybe you were betting for your friend or something. So we allow you to kind of go through the bets and decide which ones you want to be part of your history or not. And it's just a great tool that, the way the program should work is the first time you use it, you sync up with the sports book, you download your past history, and then that should really be it. You should really never have to do it again. Theoretically, you should be able to, from that point on, you should put the bet into BettorTakes before the sports book so that we get your data that way. But if you there's two ways to use the program. You can use it actively, where you start off as soon as you join, you download your bets, and then from then on, you never sync with your sports book because you're making every bet in the app directly, and so we have your history that way. But there are some people that, don't really want to use the Edge predictive tool. They just want to see their stats screen, so then they can do it more passively. They can continually download their past history and add it to their sports book bets, add it to their past history, and they can, without making these predictions, they can just fuel their stat screen by continuously downloading their bets. And again, they can pick and choose and decide what bets they want in or not if there's if they were just drunk and betting something or something and they feel like it's not indicative of their actual, it wasn't a real opinion of theirs. We only want to measure people's opinions. So if you're hedging a bet, or if you're betting for your son, betting for a friend, we really those are bets that you would want excluded. So yeah, it's just a great thing, and we can live without it. It's possible just to enter your own things. It's something that it just adds expediency. It just makes things a whole lot easier, but it's not necessarily 100%.
I love it when you have this many sports books in a state. It just gets crazy, and your app is such a great organizing tool as well. I'm curious, what sports are available to play on BettorTakes right now, and do you plan on incorporating more sports as you go along?
Absolutely. Right now, we just support the major sports: college basketball, college football, pro football, pro basketball, hockey, and pro baseball. We have a lot of sports in the queue to add. It's very hard to add new sports because the edge score needs to be computed differently. Like, we want to add UFC, and it's just a whole other world figuring out. So we're working on UFC, we're working on golf, we're working on WNBA, tennis, and hopefully soon we will have European soccer, European football. It's applicable for any sport. We just have to do the work to find experts that really understand, work with experts to figure out the right formula and get the algorithms created.
Now, BettorTakes is a relatively new app, and I'm just curious, what has been the feedback you've been getting from people who have been using BettorTakes?
I mean, everyone loves it. It's the kind of thing where, everyone, it doesn't resonate with everyone, but the people that like it really like it. Like, it's the kind of thing I feel like we're developing a core bunch of people that are really into it, it seems. People have helped us a lot with feedback, we're continually making the interface better and onboarding better. Like I mentioned, we're adding this recommendation engine, which is a great feature, but really what we're working on right now with the app is, most of the feedback is, make things a little easier, explain things a little more, and so that's kind of the feedback that's been great. But everyone loves the core product. Everyone loves looking at their stats. I mean, people look at the stat screen and they're like, wow, this is incredible. I've never seen anything like it. But the reality is that's even nowhere near as powerful as the Edge tool, and the recommendation engine is going to be even way more powerful than that. So the feedback is overwhelming. It's great. Everyone loves the program, and we've just used feedback to tweak the interface and make things easier. We're just always making it easier. People get a little lost or confused with places that, we love the program, we think it's easy, and then we show it to someone else and says, oh, that's not quite clear, and so that's what we work on. We really what we've been working on the past few months is more, like you say, like more feedback from people on how to make the interface easier and more accessible. But the base product, like everyone just, some people don't get it, but the people that get it just love it. It resonates with them immediately, and they just, become, customers that just use it every day with their daily betting.
What's amazing about BettorTakes is you're looking at your bets in a whole different way. I mean, the way I did it before is, I have these pieces of paper with scores on them, and I compared it that way. I mean, not only does BettorTakes track bets, but it also shows how a person does over a period of time and what type of bets you do well at. I mean, it's really, really eye-opening. And I was reading about BettorTakes, and you had a quote that I love. You said it's not designed to help people win, but to stop losing. I mean, how important is that concept for people to understand when the public is bombarded by sports betting and the different things they can use to help them with sports betting? How important is it for people to understand that concept?
That really is the concept. I mean, that is everything because, winners take care of themselves. It's the losers that kill you. You know what I mean? And when we show people when they're good at things and when they're bad at things, and like this whole conversation has been me not really having a bias of which is better, showing you good things or showing you bad things. Yeah. But now that you break that up, the real value in the program is that it shows you things you're bad at. And that really is your bankroll killer because everyone is good at some things, there's no question. But not everyone is good at everything in totality. Mm-hmm. So what's bringing you down are your losers. And you need to find those. You need to curtail them. They're called bankroll leaks, and that's a great, visualization. Yeah. It's like a leak. It's like you've left the faucet on, and it's like you're losing money every single bet because you're doing the same stupid stuff every day. It's, when we show people they have a high edge score, and they're like, yeah, we have a 58 or a 62, and they get excited, I just shake my head, and I'm like, dude, that's just confirmation. That's nothing. That's just, okay, great. I'm making a bet. It's a good bet. Fine. That just tells you nothing. The real value, unless you want to compare with your friends in the Pete, but that's a whole nother story. But the real value is showing you something you suck at, and then that leads to some inquiry. And what happens is you get better at something. Most people get better, you know what I mean? Like think of yourself as a business. You want to make more profit as a business. Sure. Let's say you're selling stuff, When it comes to selling more, raising your prices, there's only so much you can do. You're already doing the best you can. You're already selling it for the top price. You're already, really what you need is to cut costs, right? You need to look at things and say, hey, we can make more money, not necessarily by selling more stuff or raising prices, but let's look at our operation and see what's draining it. Let's see the things that we don't need, and let's those winners are great, but let's see what is costing us money. So that really, to me, is the most important thing to really, like you said it in a good way, that people really don't get that. People are all, when people use our app, they're all into just seeing what they're good at. And I'm just like, no, it's what you're bad at. Because that is where you learn, that's where you grow. And if you're 60% on some bets and 40% on other bets, it's a lot harder to improve on that 60% than it is just to drop the 40%. You know what I mean? Or learn on the 40%. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so important. That's where your growth comes, from curtailing losers and identifying them and growing up. Actually, one of our potential taglines is become an adult. And what we mean by that is, take a hard look at yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's great that you're winning all this stuff. It's great. Okay, great. Look at your losers. Look at the other side of it. Learn what that is, understand yourself, and stop making those mistakes.
I'm curious about your opinion on where the sports betting industry is headed in the future. I'm a gaming attorney, and I'm always in meetings with sports betting operators and sports betting companies, and, they're always using the term artificial intelligence, and they talk about customization for the industry. But where do you see the sports betting industry headed in the near future?
So what we think, or kind of as a company, I know we is a strange way to answer that question, but what I think, which has kind of become what we think, is for all that stuff you're talking about the industry, like, on the industry side of it, you're saying the operator side of it. Sure. It's okay, AI is going to help with reckoning, whatever. Really, what I think the direction is going in is I really see the rise of peer-to-peer betting. Like, I really feel like where I think the business is going is cutting commissions. I think it's crazy that people bet at, DraftKings and FanDuel when they could bet at, Profit and these other peer-to-peer things with no commission or tiny commission. Like, I go to these sporting events or these gambling industry events, and FanDuel and DraftKings, and they stand up there and they say, we're going more on personalization. We're going to, right now, they all say right now it's a great land grab where it's just everyone's new and whatever, but things are going to say, we're paying these big bonuses. That's what's going on. But that's going to settle down, and we're going to win the war with personalization. If you're from Iowa, we're going to show you this stuff from Iowa and whatever. And it's like, really? Like, do you think anyone cares about that? Like, all I care about is, money. Like, do you think I'm going to bet with DraftKings if they have a worse line because they say, hi, Steve, you're from Michigan? Like, I really think that the industry is going towards less and less commissions because it can, and at the end of the day, it's a business about money. This is gambling. This is money. If someone is going to give you an extra $500 or $1,000 a month, whether or not you win or lose, you're going to end up there at some point. So what I kind of think is the sports books don't really offer a lot. And even if they offer more services than the peer-to-peer, I just can't see that worth being really any kind of money to people. And so we think the business is going to gravitate towards the peer-to-peer. And it kind of resonates with us because we feel like, this might be a bad word, but peer-to-peer kind of democratizes betting. Mm-hmm. It kind of keeps the money within the players. The money doesn't get siphoned off to the sports books. The money stays within the playing community. And we feel like we take that democratization or leveling the playing field one step further because by showing you what you're good at and what you're bad at and improving your play, we're leveling the playing field between you and the sharps. Mm-hmm. That money is, from the peer-to-peer, the money's staying with the bettors. From us, we're giving you a chance to win against the big guys. So we think that we're leveling the playing field and just giving small guys a chance to win against these people that with their toys and with their AI and everything are ultimately going to have an edge in certain ways. So we think the industry is going towards this leveling the playing field, lowering of commissions, and equalizing things and away from domination by sharps.
Now, I got to ask you, one of the things you see in the sports betting news every week is that either platforms or companies are being acquired by sports betting operators or media companies. Is that in your business plan for BettorTakes? I mean, I got to tell you, BettorTakes is so unique in the gaming marketplace. Have you been approached or do you foresee the company making a deal with a sports betting operator or media outlet? Because I got to tell you, every week I see a team or a media outfit doing predictive games, and I think what you have would be a great addition to them.
We do think that. We do think alignment with one or more of the bigger entities is in our future, but more because we think that's the way the industry is going also. I mean, our app is super important for you to use before you place your bet, but you might have 7 or 8 other apps that are important that you want to look at. And basically, people just don't want to open 10 apps before making a bet. You know what I mean? They're getting I keep hearing this app fatigue thing, and I think it's right. I think that we think there's going to be a roll up. We think that when we first launched our product, we kind of thought about adding a whole bunch of stuff in it. We kind of had this one-stop shop attitude where we were going to go way beyond just these predictions and kind of have a lot of stuff. And then we realized, no, actually, we're going to have a role in somebody else's one-stop shop. Mm-hmm. The DraftKings of the world are going to end up buying out the action networks of the world, right? Like there's going to be verticals, everyone, because people just don't like to go to 5 different things. You know what I mean? It's all going to be integrated more and more and more. And of course, we're going to fit into that integration somewhere too. Basically we want to position, so we'd love to have a standalone app forever, and we have no problem with that. But realistically, people just don't want to go to 10 apps before placing a bet. So, we're basically, there's a lot of different companies that are going to want to be that one-stop shop. And if they do really want to be the one-stop shop, if you want to be the one place that has that client from start to finish on their gambling journey and never goes anywhere else, you're going to have BettorTakes one way or another. Your customers are going to have have access to our software. Otherwise, they're going to go somewhere else who does. So really, that's how we're part of the ecosystem, is that we're going to be a piece that, we don't need to develop 10 million customers on our own. I mean, there might be 10 million customers that want to use our product, but there's so many companies that are already accessing those 10 million customers. They're already have that reach. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Our product is built to power other sites. We see B2B in our future too. We have a product that people find valuable, whether or not the people find it from our site or somebody else's site that they go to anyway. It's fine to us. You know what I mean? We're all a little older. There's 7 or 8 of us, and we've been around a lot, and we just want to build something really, really cool. And that's what we're doing. And we just build something that we all love, and we just want to share it with everyone. We think it's just a really great thing to help people win a little more. And ultimately, our product is going to find its way where the eyeballs are, and other people already have those eyeballs. So so I agree with you. I think that because of the industry, it's just more efficient to have people go to fewer sites and have people not advertising against each other. So that's what we think is going to end up happening.
So tell us about the future of BettorTakes. What can people expect from BettorTakes in the coming months and the coming year?
Well, the next thing we're adding, of course, I mentioned the recommendation engine, which is going to show you your place on the alt spread ladder. And the next evolution of that is going to be just to tell you basically what bets you should make. So you're going to say, the recommendation engine, you're going to say, I want to bet the Lakers +5. We're going to say, you know what, bet the Lakers +2 at +120. That's a better bet. The second version of that says, I want to bet the Lakers +5. And we say, you know what, you're so bad at that. Bet the Clippers -5, but also bet the under in the first half, and you can parlay those two with LeBron going under rebounds. So we're going to just keep adding more and more. And our next big thing we're going to add is BettorTakes Financial. And BettorTakes Financial, right now I haven't said anything about money or up and down. It's all just based on your handicapping. But really, sports betting. So the problem with there's bet trackers out there, right?
Yeah.
Now, one of the basic ways that bet trackers are completely flawed is that they combine the two parts of sports betting into one. Sports betting is part handicapping, which is what your opinion is. What do you think is going to happen in the game? And then it's money management. Okay, how do I express that opinion financially? How do I bet to make the most out of my opinion? Those are two completely separate things. Now, bet trackers combine them into one number. Hey, you're up $40 betting, whatever. So right now, everything I've talked about in this conversation has only been about your opinion, that part of sports betting, the handicapping part. So the next big quantum leap for us is doing the same thing to your betting financially. And so we're going to come out with BettorTakes Financial, which is going to look at your betting patterns and isolate those and say, hey, why is it that you have 58 edge score in home games and 58 edge score with underdogs, but underdogs you're losing all this money and home games you're winning? What are you doing differently with your betting style? Stop betting parlays, whatever. So we're going to basically look into their financial, into the dollar part of it, the money part of it, and just basically the same thing. See what they're good at. You're good at this. You're good at that. Here are your mistakes. There's something going on here. You have other bankroll links that don't have to do, this isn't about your handicapping. It's not that you're making bad bets. It's just that you're betting them poorly. Here are other instances where your instinct is better as to when to pull the trigger or what to do. So that's going to be another huge, huge thing for us once we get that going.
That sounds incredible. But, Steve, we're running out of time. Where can people download the BettorTakes app? And if you have a website or social media addresses you want to give out, please do so.
Yeah, basically you can go to the App Store the Apple App Store or the Google Play. Look for BettorTakes. Remember, it's BettorTakes, and it comes up right away. Or on your mobile browser, you can go m.bettortakes.com. You don't even need to download the app. And, so that's where you can find it.
Steve Rubenfaer, founder and CEO of BettorTakes, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about BettorTakes. For someone who is interested in sports betting, BettorTakes is an incredible tool that will help take your sports betting to the next level for anyone who uses it. It's just incredible. Please come back on and keep us updated about what's happening with BettorTakes. And thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. That was really fun, and I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
That'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on The Turnpike.